Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron. I hope you're having a great day in Jesus. Thanks for being here. We're looking at psychology and worldview, and this is part of a series from a Worldview conference from Rio Linda, California, and you can check it out on our playlist. But we're just kind of taking a deep dive on what the Bible says. We've gone into scriptures on psychology and worldview, the origination of that term, phraseology from the Greek, how it's used in the Bible. And now we're in a history of really the births, in a sense, of modern Western society. And so in our last one, we did negative people who did not have a biblical psychological worldview. Those that did, beginning in the 1700s, would be like Leibniz, who, along with Newton, was like a co-founder, and I say discoverer really, of calculus would be a more accurate term to that. He and Voltaire had fightings back and forth, because Leibniz had the when you study philosophy, that this is the best of all possible worlds, and in Candide, that Voltaire really makes fun of that, Francois-Marie Arouet. And then Handel, through music, and Jonathan Swift, through writing, really, in a sense, recaptured British culture from the deist and from very negative anti-Christian influences. Masonry was like redone in 1717, and even though there are many very good and very nice and moral and upstanding Masons, the edifice itself, especially as you climb the ladder, it's really, even though it proposes itself in a Christian society as a Christian thing and does good works, that we're not supposed to take oaths among ourselves, and then we're not supposed to have preference one to another. And obviously Masonry would prefer. And then as you get on up into some of the various things and what the curses you take to do to non-Masons, or people, Masons who reveal their secrets more than non-Masons. But Timothy Dwight, another defender of Christian psychology and Christian worldview, and Samuel Morse as well, and wasn't it his son or grandson who came up with the Morse code? And some of the ways that, let's say in France specifically, that anti-Christian psychology was flamed was through libraries and portable libraries and the first encyclopedia. And I love studying about the encyclopedists, because they would write, because he had censors all over Europe, because it's supposed to be Christian countries and municipalities and all this provinces, duchies, and so you'd have censors. So they would write very eloquently and maybe even in a Christian way, and then in the footnotes it would lead you to something that would not be Christian. And so it was just through this gradualism that it brought fire in the minds of men, which is another wonderful book by Billington, who was the librarian of Congress for so long. Fire in the Minds of Men. If you want to read up on this, that would be the one book I would really recommend you get. And his sources are impeccable. I love just reading his sources in the back. But he traces basically from the Illuminati, French coffee shops and all this, which just reminds me so much of like the Northwest, but coffee shops through the Russian Revolution. And I'm thinking, his name slips my mind right now, a Scottish philosopher, extremely popular, and he wrote a history of the English people. And but I remember I had to read him for some philosophy class in college. And it'd just be amazing Christian stuff. And then he'd just have a line of like blasphemous stuff, because you're trying to beat the censors. That was the thing. So libraries, pamphlets, mobile libraries really serve to inflame the consciousness. And I think the same can be true of the internet. And it was the reason we should really have free speech on the internet. And in psychology and worldview, one of the tactics that's used to bring in certain philosophies is the use of guilt, the guilt of success of the West, that, you know, you have, others have not. We have consciences, and so, you know, you hear the term limousine liberals thrown around. And there was a book written many years ago that I read called Do As I Say, Not As I Do, and it was about the hypocrisy of liberalism. And some, I think, is blatant hypocrisy, some have hidden agendas, but I think many of them, I mean, who doesn't want to save the whales? Who doesn't want a cause celebre to save the bald eagles? Who doesn't want to protect the environment? Who doesn't want to, I mean, you'd have to be a really evil person to say, I want to destroy the environment. You know what I'm saying? To hurt nature. But the thing is as Darwin said, is it at the expense of the descent of man, that man is in the image of God. And so how do you do that? So I think we're going to stop there, because I want to flesh out this guilt of success in the West a little more, and the tool of conscience, and how it is used to manipulate people to do very bad things. It's like C.S. Lewis said. He said the worst type of torture and that type thing is when the people actually think they're doing moral good and doing you moral good by hectoring you. And he just really, he saw it, man. So God bless. We love you. Check out our other videos. Subscribe. Hit the bell notification. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.